Hello to my future teacher, future instructor of this unit. Just going to talk to you a little bit about some of the strategies that I've put into this unit that will be, I think, very effective for the students to learn what they're supposed to. There are a lot of different theories here that we're covering. The ones that I specifically think that I really hit upon here with using this unit is Vygotsky's. The exploration, the constructivism, the exploration, hands-on activity, where they're going to learn through their environment, and where they'll have to use language, in whether it be the key summative assessment, where they have to use a PowerPoint or Prezi with voiceover, or written. They have to be able to use their skills there, their voice. Also, you're going to see the behavioral skills where you get to do the positive feedback and so on and so forth. And then the cognitive theory is huge here, because the higher amount of input they're going to get, because they're going to take their prior knowledge and with some new gained knowledge, and they have to apply it to a real-world application. That real-world application here is, how do airbags work? And they're going to be using their chemistry knowledge of gas laws and stoichiometry to figure out exactly how much air needs to be, or gas needs to be generated in a 1-liter bag, so that they can drop basically an egg from a 3-meter distance and it won't break. So they have to figure out how much is too much and how much is not enough. And that's going to be some trial and error. So they're going to have to work in groups. So I'm going to employ a number of different strategies throughout this lesson to help them achieve that learning goal. Okay, so that they, and then show me what they've learned through that key summative assessment. So let's just start. Here's the drop-in page, and you can see there's just a little welcome video from me, and of course you would make that your own. And then there's a video here that basically talks about the gas law stoichiometry lab demo, and which is what they're going to be doing, which is what I'm going to be doing for them on day 2, and then they're going to be doing on a smaller scale to actually create an airbag design. So let's start here with the class information, because I think that's where the most information is going to be helpful to you. There's a hidden instructors resources, but before I pop into that, I'm going to show you down here, we do talk about academic integrity. The class resources are there. The classroom management plan is there. Of course, you will make all of this your own, and so on and so forth. And then the final is the unit rubrics that are used. There's 3 different rubrics used through this unit. One's a discussion board rubric, and because the kids have choice on their key summative assessment, they can either do it by a PowerPoint, Prezi presentation with voiceover, or some sort of written report. Both of these things will contain the exact same information, but this will give the kids some choice on how they wish to present it. So I'm going to go back up here, click back up here, and go to the Hidden Instructors Resources folder, because this information is there for you, and then I'll walk you through the lesson itself and show you what strategies I've used. So of course, here's the UBD design lesson. It's there for you to take a peek at. It walks you through what's the big idea, the 2 standards that we are covering, that's all in there. You should be very familiar with that. Again, here are the rubrics for you. Okay, like I said, the laboratory notebook part of the journal notebook is exactly the same on both the key summative assessments. How they wish to present it is where they get choice, either a written report or PowerPoint. And then they're going to be doing a discussion starting on day 2, going through day 7, and then they can, that is the rubrics going to be used for this. And this isn't so much seeing that they have the knowledge base, but to see how they're using their knowledge, applying it, and using it for discussion with their other students, with their classmates. Here's a letter for you explaining the unit. All right, so you can open that up, and then there's another one explaining the criteria behind the assessment. So there's 2 letters here for you that I think will be very helpful. There's also some letter to parents about the key assessment. There's also the medical examiner expert. Remember, we talk about Vygotsky talks about learning from the experts. Well, we're an expert, but also I have included in this unit a medical examiner who's going to give them students some insight into airbags and seatbelts, and then an airbag engineer who's also going to help with giving the kids the knowledge they need to create a mock airbag. So that's all those letters there for you. So let's just start with week 1. You can see some of the strategies that are going to be used. They are all built into it day by day. There's a couple of, right off the bat, there's a couple of PowerPoints with voiceover for the students. One's just a teacher introduction. The second one is talking about the key assessment for the students, so they already know what's going to be expected of them. I've also included in here a survey. It's using a Google form, and the Google form will allow students to think about, what do I know, what don't I know about airbags? And there's no right or wrong answer. It's just for them to start getting them to think about it, exploring. What do I know? What don't I know? Oh, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I did. Oh, that's a good question. Then the coursework really comes into it. Here's a couple links. They're going to be getting information from the Insurance Institute for the Highway Safety. There are 2 links here. One's going to tell them basically a little bit of overview about airbags, and then one is specifically question and answers on airbags. More commonly asked questions and with the answers to them, more specifically on how it works. Okay, so that's day 1. Day 2, then they're going to be watching a PowerPoint from me with voiceover. So this would be yours. You could use mine or you could use your own. I mean, more power to you if you want to do your own. You don't like mine, or you can add on to it something you think is more specific to, more current. Go for it. Graphic organizers are great tools for students to use. This helps them get the knowledge that they actually want them to bring forward and use when they go start doing the mock airbag design. Also, I'm going to provide for them a demonstration so they can see how the gas is generated that they're going to be using. All right, and then they're going to tie into where they are going to listen to the expert video. One up here where they talk to Lydia Bender on day 1, and here where they're watching a video with the airbag design engineer, and they'll be watching that as a YouTube video. And then they're going to also, tied here is how airbags work. So if they don't get the information they need, there's also a PDF. So there's other links here, other information, other ways for them to get the information. Okay, so what they're going to do is they are going to get the information that I think they need through if they fill out the graphic organizer, then doing another Google form. This is a formative assessment I've put in here. I should say it's a summative assessment, but a small summative assessment for me to know that they've gotten the information they need. They have written down somewhere on their information they have what they need. This is also when they're going to start the discussion board rubric. Okay, this does not require them to necessarily show their expertise in stoichiometry or gas laws. This is to get them thinking about the big picture, legality around airbags and ethics and so on and so forth, what we have rights as adults, how we should these things be offered to us, should they be mandatory, and get them to start thinking through a discussion some of these key issues, because they're still teenagers, but soon enough they will be adults and have a say so. So let them start thinking on that. So day 3 and 4 is now really where they're starting to work as a group, working collaboratively to develop that mock airbag design. And so they're going to have to write their stoichiometry equations. All this goes in their laboratory journal notebook, okay? So this is where you tell them, look at that rubric again. What's required of you in your laboratory notebook? Make sure it is set up precisely the way it needs to be. Come up with your airbag design. Work together. Theorize. Hypothesize. All this stuff. Use all those critical thinking skills and to come up with a design. All right, so what they're going to do is, this is what's going to be happening over the next few days. This is where it's key, where you as a teacher, a strategy for you is the teacher check-in. Okay, so this is where you're going to talk to the students, see where they're going, what direction are they going in the right direction, do you need to ponder a question to them to make sure they are going in the correct direction. See how their recalculations are looking. Okay, so this is daily check-in for this is easy. So don't just answer their questions. And if they come up to you and say, I don't know what I'm doing, say, well, what are you doing? And what do you think might be a better way to approach this? And see what they think. See if they can come up with the right scenario. And usually they can. I find it that they learn much better if you don't give them the answers. So that's the first week. The second week is where they're going to be finishing up. They get 3 trials at dropping this egg into an airbag. Okay, 3 trials. All right, see how they do. All right, all their calculations, all their stuff should be there. Day 7, now they come into a self-assessment. They get to assess themselves. How did I do? Did I go in the right direction? Did I learn from this? Was this hard? Was this the best way to learn? See, they get to give you some more effective, get to put their emotional tie to it. I think when they do this self-assessment, and this is also again done through a Google Doc. Then they do their key summative assessment on a PowerPoint or written report, and they have a Dropbox. We've talked about how they have turned it into turnitin.com. That's all spelled out in the rubric. So it's spelled out in the rubric, 45% for the key portions, but they have to do this, turnitin.com. Academic integrity is huge. We want them, yes, they had the experts, they have a medical examiner, they have myself, and they had the airbag expert, but they have to learn to give credit where credit is due through the academic integrity. So this unit, in a nutshell, has a number of strategies that can be used to help students with their learning, and show using both the constructivism and their cognitive and social cognitive theories. So take a look at it. Make changes to it if you feel you need to. Have fun with it, and I hope you have as much fun with it as I did. Thanks. Bye-bye.